This is the third Ask Me Anything feature we've done. So I've got some questions here from people who are asking me anything. John Hem. Oh, hi, John. I know this person from many years ago. What is yours and Chris's favorite holiday, and how do you spend it? Well, we don't really have favorite holidays. I've found living in England, if you ignore Christmas, it comes to you. Years ago, I asked my cousin John if they did Christmas in England, and he laughed at me. Boy, did they do it here. It's amazing. And it's nice to just driving down the street brings it to you. We also like Thanksgiving, mainly because there's some good eating involved, and we don't have to do anything except be grateful for what we have. So yeah, those are the two. Dave Taylor Bocanegra asks, I hope I'm not too late. Wondering if you believe Mona of the Manor will ever be brought to film. I absolutely adored it. Well, thank you, Dave. I'm proud of that book, and I'm glad you liked it. I have no idea whether it's going to be a film, ever. I never know what. Things happen in my life kind of serendipitously. People call up and say, what about maybe the moon, after years of ignoring it? And that may happen with Mona of the Manor. I would like to think it will. I think it's a fun story. Neil Seshan says, I started reading your daily posts in the Quran in 1976 and was active in the campaign against the Briggs Initiative in 1978, where I met my husband of 41 plus years. Oh, how sweet. I would be interested in finding out your thoughts about the politics of that era and how it compares and contrasts with the current difficult political situation. Well, I think it's worse now, mainly because of Trump and the sort of fascist regime that he's brought into power. There were ugly things going on there, like the Briggs Initiative in the old days. I don't know what to tell you about that. It's worse and better in some ways. We're a lot of us speaking out and making our voices heard, and not afraid to do that. It's surprising how many people were afraid to speak out in those days, even though we had leadership like people like Cleve Jones who really got people riled up in a good way. We're still going to have to fight the battle. They're still trying to get trans people in some way or another, and I'm not going to desert the fight until that we've dealt with that. Okay, next. Joseph Tae-wee Tech. I was 23 in 1996 in Galway, Ireland, and just out when I encountered the Tales of the City stories, and somehow every word, line, and chapter felt as real and tangible to me as if I had lived through it all. When you wrote those amazing stories, Armistead, would you have known of the timelessness and relevance of your works across the years and generations? No, I didn't dream that such a thing would happen. It's the great joy of my life that it did happen and that people still find things to love in the books. You don't set out to write something that's going to, survive across the ages, but when I started writing tales, I really was trying to, I don't know what I was doing. They didn't know what I was doing at the Chronicle either. It just sort of emerged from me. When suddenly there was a gay character, I knew that I had to allow my own politics in that situation come to the fore. So Michael Tolliver became as vocal as I was in many ways. I couldn't have dreamed that it was going to last as long as it's lasted. And I'm very happy that it did. you never know about these things when you're a writer and you start off creating something. You just try your best to live in the moment, which is what I did. And because I did, it had resonance, I think, and still does. Thanks for the question, Joseph Tewi Tech. That must be Irish stuff, if you were living in Galway. But anyway, Beatrice writes, how big was Rock Hudson's dick, and was he circumcised? Do not use my name. Oh dear, I just did. I have enough problems already. You have a good sense of humor, Beatrice. I've dealt with this in other places, so you know that it was big and kind of gnarly, and I don't even remember if he was circumcised, to tell you the truth. It may have been a partial circumcision. It's ridiculous to even be talking about this, but I promised I would answer questions, so. All right, here's one from Mike. I remember every week dropping a quarter into the yellow SF Chronicle newspaper vending machines to see the latest tales. When the books came out, I bought them all, read each one, curious, do the books actually mirror the Chron installments of tales? I seem to recall some differences, but I'm not sure of it. Well, I did have a chance to rewrite and tidy up a bit sometimes. It's better in the form that you've read it in the book. Don't think you're going to get some gem by getting the old copies of the Chronicle. Yeah, I was just, I was flying by the seat of my pants, so I had to get it on the page, while I could. You might like to know that when it came to time to put the book together, to compile all those individual episodes, I went down to Palm Springs. All good things happen when you go to Palm Springs. And my friend Kirk Frederick actually became my typist for this experience. We had the newspaper clippings arranged on the floor, and he did me the courtesy of being my stenographer. A doctor friend of my parents, of all people, said, you're going to need something for when you're writing. And he basically prescribed me some sort of speed that made me really write like crazy, but made me suicidal by the end of it. I mean, I was very upset, and I was accusing my friends who'd gone off to party of deserting me, and I was just a mess. This, by the way, was at Rock Hudson's house. I don't think I mentioned that before. He kindly lent me his Palm Springs house to write the damn thing. So, what more do you need to know? That's it, right? Okay. Jonathan writes, when you return to the Tales universe, starting with Michael Tolliver Lives, did you feel your influence in writing the characters by the actors who portrayed the characters on screen, especially Laura Linney and Olympia Dukakis? Well, funny you should say that. Laura became Mary Ann for me just almost immediately. It was so clear to me that she knew who that character was, every nuance of that character. And so I would hear her voice in my head. To a lesser degree, Olympia, but certainly she influenced the writing of the books. When the producers began to cast Tales of the City, I was sent a videotape of Laura Linney reading for another role, and they said, "Did you think she would work for Mary Ann?" And I took one look at it and said, "Work for her? She is it. She's Mary Ann." And we were off and running with a great professional collaboration and a great friendship for me. Laura ended up naming her son Bennett Armistead Shower some years back, 10 years back, I guess. She is somebody I treasure, really treasure as a friend. She understands me, always did, and we've laughed about the same things. And her kindness is a great feature of Laura. She's a kind person, and yet she'll get a wicked little cackle, that lets you know when you're laughing at something. She's just the best, and I'm not being eloquent about this because I've never set out to define exactly what it is I love about Laura, but I do love her with all my heart. Olympia, of course, is a great, great actress. She knew exactly what to do with Anna Madrigal. Nowadays, they would say, well, she wasn't trans, so she shouldn't have played that role. Well, maybe, but she owned it. She owned it in a big way. And I've always been glad that she took on the job of playing Anna. And she knew what she was doing. She would say, in some scenes, she would say, I'm going to let the man out now. Meaning the part of Anna that had been male, once been male. She was a very sensitive, intuitive actress who brought life and real joy to that role. I'll always be grateful to her for establishing Anna in the mind of everyone, and she did it as a straight woman. Go figure. Olympia is another person who, with whom I had a great friendship, and she would call me on my shit sometimes, which you can imagine how she would. I miss Olympia, really miss her. She was something primal in my life, not just as Anna, but as a person. I wish I could still spend time with her. So thank you, Jonathan, for asking that question and allowing me to celebrate some very special people. And thank you, everyone who tuned in today. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.